So we're going to look some more at our circle today. We're going to use this whole from the fraction in sets. What is this called around the outside? It's what we've been working with. It's called the circumference. We're going to see how we can measure the circumference. When we have a polygon, like this square, we call the measurement around the outside the perimeter. And we find the perimeter by adding the measurements of all the sides together. So, if the measurement of this side is 2 inches, it's not really 2 inches, it's bigger, but we're going to use 2 inches for the sake of this being simple. If this side is 2 inches, and this side is 2 inches, and this side is 2 inches, and this side is 2 inches, we would add all of those together to find the perimeter. So 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 equals 8. The perimeter of this square would be 8 inches. But on our circle, we don't have any sides. A side has to be straight, and our circle does not have anything straight on it. But we have another way we can measure the circumference. So here, I've made a line on my circle, and I've made a line on my paper. So I'm going to roll this circle. I'm going to start at, so this line is on the bottom. I'm going to start at the end of my paper, and I'm going to roll it until the line is at the bottom again. So I have this paper, and I've drawn a line on it. I've also drawn a small line on my circle. So I can use this line and the line on my circle to measure the circumference. I'm going to roll my circle. I'm going to start it here, so my line is at the bottom, and I'm going to carefully roll it all the way along, which requires a lot of concentration. Okay, so my mark is at the bottom again, so I'm going to put a mark right here. Now we can measure the circumference by our circle's diameter. So I'm going to put a mark on my circle to mark the diameter. I wouldn't normally do this, but I can easily erase this by rubbing it off or by using a little bit of water. So I'm going to put a diameter on my circle, and we'll be right back. So I have my diameter on my circle, and now I can use my circle, my diameter, to see how many times I can fit the circle on the line that we made. Let's see. So there's one. I'll mark it. Two times. I can use my diameter to line up with my line so that I can keep everything where it's supposed to be. Three. Oh, and a little bit. I can't fit my whole circle in that little space, but so this circle, we were able to fit it 3 and a little bit of times in the diameter. Excuse me, in the measurement of the circumference, the perimeter of the circle. Let's see. Let's try it with my circle number 2. So this circle is smaller than our fraction circle. We're going to see what happens. All right. So I have circle number 2. I'm going to start it down here. I have my line. And I'm going to stop when the line comes to the bottom again. It's a little bit harder with a paper circle. If you do this at home, try and find an item that's circular, like the lid of a jar or the lid of a container of yogurt or something like that. You can do it with paper, or even if you can somehow get a perfect circle out of cardboard, that would be good. It's just a little easier that way. This is kind of flimsy. Okay, so this is where my circle, or my line, ended up at the bottom again. So I'm gonna mark that. All right, now I will make my diameter with my ruler. So I had already pre-drawn this line, and then I've also drawn another line because we're gonna see what happens with one more circle after this. So I'm gonna go through the center of my circle. Let's see, I'm gonna make the diameter and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I have my diameter. Let's see how many times it fits. One, 2, 3, oh, and a little bit. So again, 3, if it's 3 times, and a little bit. I wonder what will happen with circle number 3. Let's find out. Starting with it on the line. Okay, so I'm rolling it very carefully. And there. So that's where it stopped. Okay, I'm gonna mark my diameter and be right back. All right, so now I have my diameter, and I decided to draw it a little bit differently because this line was not directly in the center of the circle. So this is my diameter. I'm gonna go ahead and measure it. And one thing that I need to mention before we do that is that this circle is smaller than this circle and smaller than this circle. So this is the smallest circle of the 3. Okay, let's measure. So this one fits 1, 2 times. 3 times, and a little bit. So just like the other 2 circles, our small circle has fit 3 times and a little bit. So it seems that every time we measure using the diameter, the circle fits 3 times and a little bit. Well, this discovery was made a long time ago. The Greeks gave it the name of one of their letters, pi, which is written like this. And we know that 3.14 or 3 14/100 is the closest we can get to it in a decimal fraction because it keeps going on and on and on and never repeats. And we know that it expresses a relationship between the diameter and the circumference of a circle. So if you know the diameter, you can find the circumference of a circle, the perimeter of a circle, by multiplying the length of the diameter by pi. I'm going to write that down. So, circumference is equal to the diameter times pi. The circumference is equal to the diameter times pi. And we know that the diameter is equal to 2 radii because a radii goes from the center of the circle out to the circumference. So this is 1 radii, this is 1 radius, and this is another radius. It also goes out from the center to the circumference. So it takes 2 radii to make 1 diameter. So if we multiply 2 radii by pi, that also gives us the circumference. So I'm going to write that as well. This time, instead of writing out the word circumference, which takes up a lot of space, I'm going to just abbreviate it by writing C. So C, capital C, equals 2 of the radii, 2 radii times pi. All right, your follow-up work is on the Google Classroom. I'll see you in our next lesson. Bye for now.